Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Nigeria Now, where we discuss issues concerning the country, looking at various sectors, and then do also welcome you to drop your comment, your views, and any of your opinion concerning some of the issues we would love to discuss this afternoon. I am Sarah Elisha Dashom. I'll bring the program together with Rachel Tanzi. Good afternoon, Rachel.
Afternoon, Sarah.
All right, we have quite a number of issues on our plate, and we'd love to start with the issue of the fuel scarcity that is still biting hard. In fact, as it is presently, Nigerians are complaining about how much they are to be buying the PMS, that's talking about the premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol. And we're seeing that the price has gone up right now. It's almost getting to 1,500 depending on where you're buying it. Sometimes 1,002 for some of the mega filling station. It's ranging to be about 900 naira or so. So quite a number of things. And we will recall last week where the NNPC promised Nigerians that by weekend the fuel will be available, but it seems as if it was not available, or rather the price is high. But then here we're seeing that syrup is calling on the federal government, giving them 48 hours to reverse the price. Now, we've seen a number of bodies have come out. We've seen the NLC saying that the price should be reduced. We've seen the minority reps, caucus as well, have also called on the federal government to reverse it. We saw NAS as well, that's the National Association of Nigerian Students, have also called on the government regarding that. And now it's syrup as well, is saying that it's either the federal government reverse that price or they will actually face legal action. Now, we've always praised syrup because sometimes, in as much as most of the issue they bring forward, we hardly seen it going to court, but they try their best to make sure that they keep the government on its toe regarding what is expected of them to do. And this is one of the things calling on the federal government to do something regarding this the scarcity of fuel as well as the hike in price. We saw where the federal government say that they have no direct contact or they have no relationship together with the price of the PMS. So it looks more like NNPC is different and the presidency is different. But as far as Nigerians are concerned, once there is a hike in that price, they always hold the federal government responsible for that. And we saw when the NNPC as well came out to state the fact that they have no right directly concerning that. They said this is as a result of the free market price.
Yeah.
Yes, so the flow over there, that is what is actually determines the price of it. But then, in as much as we know the government cannot because of certain factors on ground, but a number of Nigerians as well believe that there's something the government can do regarding the price. And we see Sarah giving them 48 hours, so already almost 24 hours is gone ready, so they have about another 24 hours or so to be able to do something regarding that. But this is what it is as it is concerning the issue of, well, let's not even talk about inflation in the country presently. Let's not even talk about the proposed hike of the tariff, where we're seeing that our VAT maybe by 2025, who knows, in as much as we're seeing the finance minister stating the fact as it is presently, it's still at 7.5%, but we know that it's eminent, definitely there's going to be an increase in our VAT, because remember Bill Gates talking about the fact that our tax is very low, so there is a need for that. But let's narrow it back to the issue of the fuel we're having on ground, and then what Sarah is saying concerning the time frame they're giving the federal government to reverse the price.
So I believe that Nigerians are just in the point whereby they do not know if they can believe or trust the NNPCL, because they have been deceitful for a period of time now. Because if we look at the lingering issue concerning the scarcity and what the NNPCL said was the problem, and despite trying to tackle that problem, it didn't change the narrative of the situation, not until they came out to admit that this scarcity is as a result of them being in debt of over 6 billion and US dollar and all of that. And now we know the reason behind that. So the question is it an illegal hike or is it truly market factors? Because on one side, it could be true that it is market factors, but on the other side, the NNPCL have not been transparent. So could it be an illegal hike? Because Sarah is coming from the point that the increase in the fuel pump price is an illegal high. NNPCL is coming out to say that it is market factor. At the same time, the NNPCL have denied being in debt and have now, despite marketers coming out to say these people are owing, they are owing. They kept on saying it's not true, and then eventually they admit. So it's the same thing now. Is it an illegal hike, because that is what Syrup is saying, or is it market factors? Now, even if it is market factors, you have denied the fact that you're paying subsidy. But over the month, we've had marketers over the year, because it's over a year now since subsidy have been gone. We've seen marketers making statement that the fuel landing price have changed compared to what we are getting in the market, knowing fully well that the Minister of Petroleum, who is the same person as the president of the country, assured Nigerians that fuel pump price will not go above 700. And for a period of time, we've seen the NNPCL be able to give and supply without it going over 700. Now, immediately scarcity kicks in, we started seeing the fuel pump price going high. So, can we believe NNPCL that is market factor, or is it an illegal hike, knowing very well that the NNPCL doesn't allow any other marketer to import, you buy from them, therefore giving them control over the price of what the fuel pump price is. Now, Serap's contention with NNPCL is the fact that, you know what, you've had a bailout fund of $300 million US, and you have not accounted for it. Apart from that, they are telling the Accountant General of the Federation to ask them to also be able to give account of why they have not been able to give money into the treasury. You've not deposited into the treasury, but for some reason you are still owing. So what have you been doing with your fund, because it can be accounted for that you can give? And what about the bailout funds that you have taken out? What was it used for, and all of that? And then the question in general, Sarah, if you try to separate the NNPCL, because that's what the NNPCL tries to do, separate themselves, or rather the federal government tries to separate itself from the NNPCL. But does the Minister of Petroleum not have control over what happens in the NNPCL, knowing fully well that we are talking about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu here? Are we trying to say that for some reason, when it comes to NNPCL, there's an exception that is they can do whatever they want and the minister is not in charge of it? Or are we trying to change the whole narrative of governance in this country, because we know that the Minister of Education knows exactly what is happening in every subsection of education, be it Subet, be it for the secondary school, be it, they are in charge of the fundings in and out of everything that happens. So are we trying to say now that the Minister of Petroleum, that is the president of the country, is not aware of the fundings that are going to the NNPCL, the bailout fund, that they cannot account for it, or the fact that they have not been remitting money to the treasury? Therefore, nobody knows what they are earning, if truly what they're earning cannot cover up for the debt that have gathered, accumulated, yes, that's the word, or the fact that they need about the same amount of 6 billion to be able to import more fuel. Because the reason behind this scarcity is the fact that they have not been able to pay, so supply have been reducing because they do not have the purchasing power to be able to import the usual quantity of petroleum that we need. So I think even for Serap is trying to be bold, because there are two sides of this issue. It could be an illegal hike. At the same time, there's no disputing factor that there is market factors. But which would you believe, looking at how NNPCL have not been transparent? And that is the question for all Nigerians. So I think Serap should stand on their ground. And if the NNPCL is standing on the fact that it is market factors, then you have to prove to Nigerians that it is market factor. True. Because we know that this increase came abruptly, immediately. There were news about the Dangote refinery rolling out fuel. So you might just want to, you can't help but ask, is it as a result of buying and selling from the Dangote refinery, or what other factor that did not take place? What market factor didn't take place then, that all of a sudden it's happening now?
Presently, yes. Honestly, because you really won't blame Syrup when they take it. Just like you said, it looks more like it's a illegal way of trying to let people just suffer it for the meantime. Okay, if you're actually saying that you are having some debt you need to clear, I think Nigerians have been asking questions. Where is the money that we're supposed to be paying subsidy initially?
Yeah.
It's over a year, so you should have saved quite a lot of amount of money to be able to clear your debt. So what really is happening? You recall there was a time where we saw NNPCL saying that the federal government is owing them money from
We saw
subsidy,
that over
which
2
was for,
billion.
yes, which was for
Yes.
last year June July subsidy, which we saw. We clearly remember that the first subsidy stopped in June, and then there was a payment that was made till July. Now where is the funds and all of that? So there's quite a number of questions we need to ask, and that's
Yeah.
why we say it all boils down to being transparent. If you're transparent to Nigerians, I mean, if it is expensive, it will have been different if it is expensive and available. But it's not available and it's expensive, so you just can't help but wonder what really is the problem. We're not the only country that is actually using the PMS. So why are we the only country presently going through all of these market factors, according to the NNPCL? But we know that, just like we said, I mean, since last week, this is far from being over until we are having available petrol, until Nigerians can actually say to some extent, they can actually say they are comfortable. I think we'll keep having this conversation over and over again. Now, in the midst of all of the hardship Nigerians are going through, and then the federal government trying to come up with something just to make life a bit easy, so they say, quote unquote. But then we remember last week where the Minister of Agriculture came out and ruled out and said, you remember in July we said we're going to be bringing rice at a very cheap price. And so finally we're going to be rolling it out. So you must need, I remember saying that one of the most important things you must have is your NIN, which is your national identification number. You must have that. And then for civil servant, you must have your IPPIS, which is through which they pay you. You must have a valid phone number and a number of things that is very important for you to purchase it. But it seems that all of this Nigerians have it, but then they are struggling to actually have access to the rice. Now we've had a number of people, especially in the FCT, complaining that we have all of this thing, but we're yet to even see the rice. So we wonder what is the problem. Where is the point of sale? Because you said that where you make the payment is different from where you will be collecting. So after buying is different. So that they said they want to be able to more like control stamping and all of that. I think that was the reason the federal government brought. But then we're trying to say that today is 9th, and then since 5th or 4th was when we saw the Minister of Agri telling us that, and then Nigerians are yet to even lay their eyes or even know where the rice is. So you just can't help but wonder what really is the problem. Already we've complained that the 30,000 metric tons of rice would not even cover 1/4 of Nigerians looking at it. So we really cannot help but ask the federal government the question, and I know this is a question that Nigerians ask: what really is the problem? What is the delay? Why is the thing going on? I mean, Nigerians are looking forward to buying that rice. In as much as it's 40,000, it might be a bit expensive for people who can't afford it. But then we're seeing that it's not even available for people to purchase it.
Sally, the truth is that this rice will never be available. We're looking at the population of over an estimate, without our census taking place, of over 270 million people against 600,000 bags of rice. Is an insignificant number, but we can bring it down, right? The people that have the NIN and all of that, and we can say, well, based on the based on valuable voters, electorate, and all of that, on INEC,
IRF and all of that,
we can take it to about 95 million Nigerians against 600,000 bags of rice. Is insignificant. Nobody's going to get it. Now, let's bring it down to how many federal government workers we have. It's a federal government scheme and a plan. So let's say perhaps they decide to give it to their workers first. We have over 1.5 million, reaching 2 million federal government workers in Nigeria. So if we're not even going to reach half of them will not be able to get these 600,000 bags of rice. What does that mean? It's no one director alone can say, I want 10 bags. It keeps reducing
because
the number.
It keeps
exactly. We are looking at barely 1% of our population having access to this bag of rice. 1% is too much, but let's not do the mathematics, because we already know whether we do the plus, the minus, the division and subtraction. We know that 600 bags of rice. Dango, we started this on Friday, and we know how many metric tons of rice we consume as a country annually. And compared to this 600 bags of rice is nothing. So is it a surprising thing that this rice are not available or are not seen? It's not a surprising thing. But the annoying thing, Sele, because that's the emotion tied up to this, is that the federal government keeps portraying solutions that are not even solutions in the first place. It's not going to solve a problem. It's not going to do anything. First of all, it's not even going to alleviate hunger. It is not. This is 600 bags of rice. If an individual must get it, that is 600,000 people as against 270 million. So it's not even going to alleviate hunger for the country. It doesn't have the capacity to crash down the price of rice in the market. It is not going to do anything whatsoever. It's just what it is. 600 bags of rice, and I hope that the lucky 600,000 people in Nigeria get it. But we can cut it down. Imagine 100 directors asking for like 10 bags and all of that. We have like 1,000 out. We can remove the number and down. You can do the mathematics of how many people, and how sure are we that we won't have politicians hijacking it, because now they can hijack the subsidized rice and then use it for their campaigns, use it as, you know what, I'm giving my people palliative, I'm giving it. We know how it is. So Nigerians shouldn't put their mind 600 bags of rice. Nobody is going to see it. I doubt it much if 100,000 people will see it. But if the federal government tries, maybe 100,000 people will be able to see this bag. But it's truly an insignificant number. Before it leaves the federal capital territory or wherever it is, even if it is Lagos, and gets to other states, I don't think it's going to be a difficult one. So it's really sad that the federal government keeps portraying things that are not going to solve any issue and make it look like they're doing something, but they know that they are not doing anything. And we want the government of Nigeria to truly wake up and do the necessary work.
Honestly, just like you said, this emotional part of it all, that the federal government keep feeling as if they are providing solutions. Meanwhile, nothing whatsoever. In fact, it's not even a drop in an ocean, because you can't even see it.
Yes.
And that is the way things are moving in the country. And each time when you, as Nigerians, when you try to give a benefit of doubt for the government, and then each time they keep failing you over and over, you just can't help but wonder, what is the problem? And I like the point you brought up where you said, this is where we see certain politicians hijacking all of this, and then campaign is already going on. Let's not forget, local government are planning to start. So somebody might actually get this and share it to his ward, saying that he's contesting for councillorship or chairmanship. Or are we going to say that of Edo State? Somebody can just come and share it for market women and say this is right. Or somebody can actually have it and then go sell it again to Nigerians. So what are we saying? Just when you are trying to see that the federal government thinking that, okay, let's make it electronically, with that you cannot hijack. We've seen this over and over happening in this country. But it's quite sad, and we keep saying that our own work is here is to raise hope and then give hope to Nigeria. That in spite of all of this, we are hoping that someday we'll have a Messiah in our leaders that will be able to really, really, relate with the pain of its people and know that, you know what, I'm not just here for myself. And then I'm going to put aside ethnicity, religion, whatsoever, and do the right thing. But then let's just keep our fingers crossed and hoping that eventually we'll get to see the rise, even though we've seen many scheme being brought up and then very few Nigerians benefit. Let's not even talk about the was it 500,000 homes or 5,000 homes where we saw we're being given certain money, and we only saw one.
Yes.
And then we're still wondering, is it the nano loan that will be given to those who are starting business of 50,000 naira? How many people were able to get that? So quite a number of things. But then we'll keep our fingers crossed, hoping something positive will come out of this eventually. Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for doing this discussion with me as well. Thank you to the viewers, our supporters, as well as every other person who made the program a success. Until we come again tomorrow, do have a great day ahead.